A storm raged in the night sky, flashing streaks of lightning illuminating the grand estate of Victor Langley. Inside the marble-floored study, Victor sat alone, a glass of whiskey trembling in his grasp. He had spent a lifetime amassing his fortune, building an empire of power, influence, and unimaginable riches. Yet, in this moment, he felt as hollow as the echo of his own footsteps in his cavernous home. The news of his son Daniel's departure had arrived earlier that day. A letter, brief and pointed, left no room for doubt. Daniel had forsaken the Langley name and all that came with it. "I would rather be a beggar with my dignity than a prince without a soul," the final line had read. It replayed in Victor's mind like a haunting melody, stripping away the armor of pride he had so carefully built over the years. His wife, Eleanor, had left years before. She had warned him. "This wealth will devour us, Victor. You do not see it now, but in time, it will consume everything." He had dismissed her then, confident that love could be bought, that loyalty had a price, and that wealth was the great fortress against sorrow. Yet, sitting alone in his empire, he realized too late that all he had built had cost him what truly mattered. The doors creaked open, and Robert, the family's butler of nearly 3 decades, stepped in hesitantly. "Sir, it is late. Would you like me to bring you anything before I retire?" Victor looked up, his eyes weary. "Tell me, Robert, have I truly won?" The butler hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "Sir, that depends on what you were playing for." A bitter smile curled Victor's lips. "I thought wealth was the answer. I believed that money could shape the world to my will. But my wife left me, my son has turned his back on me, and here I sit, drowning in gold and whiskey with nothing but ghosts for company." Robert, a man who had seen the Langley family at its highest and lowest, sighed. "Wealth, sir, is like fire. It can warm you, illuminate your path, or burn everything you love to the ground. It is not the wealth itself but how it is used that determines its true value." Victor swallowed the whiskey in his glass, watching the amber liquid catch the dim glow of the room's chandelier. "Then I have used it poorly." Silence stretched between them until Robert finally spoke again. "Perhaps it is not too late to start anew. Money may not buy happiness, but it can be used to rebuild, to mend what is broken, if you are willing." Victor exhaled heavily. Could he cast aside his pride and reach out to the son who had walked away? Would Daniel listen? Would Eleanor even care if he tried? The thought of humbling himself after a lifetime of dominance felt insurmountable. Yet, what was the alternative? To rot away in solitude, a king of an empty kingdom. Victor set down the whiskey and pushed himself up. His joints ached, a reminder that time itself was a commodity even he could not buy. "Robert, prepare the car. I have somewhere I need to be." The butler gave a small nod and left the room. Victor lingered for a moment, staring at the portrait above the fireplace, himself, Eleanor, and Daniel, painted long before their family had fractured. The man in the portrait had been full of dreams and ambitions, unaware of the toll his pursuit of wealth would take. "I will not let it end like this," he murmured to himself. Then, with the fire crackling behind him, he turned and walked toward the future, uncertain but willing to pay the true price of wealth, whatever that may be.